What if one of the most important lessons about being an artist was hidden inside a battle in Jujutsu Kaisen? Hey, believe me when I say I just witnessed the highest peak of our generation. The highlight of JJK Season 3. Yuta's battle in the Sendai Colony was absolute artistry and pure peak.
What the fuck the big three? Nigga, it's just big me, nigga. Boom!
一回だけですよ。
Keep it a stack. My brain almost got stunned inside of Mappa's infinite void of animation. My brain couldn't handle the peak. Everybody and their mama knows this is one of the most creative fights in all of JJK. The scenery, the characters, the techniques, everything was better than I expected. And most importantly, this final episode of JJK Season 3, it actually teaches something very important about being an artist. Hey, I know what y'all are thinking right now. Y'all smell some big cap accumulating here. It's not a lesson about drawing technique. It's not a lesson about talent either, but it's a lesson about identity. Because in the Sendai Colony, Yuta doesn't just fight some powerful ops. He fights 3 completely different philosophies, 3 different mindsets, 3 different ways of existing in this world. All these mindsets look a lot like the struggles every artist goes through. Trying to find your style, trying to create something meaningful, trying to prove that what you create matters. This battle isn't just about power. As I just said, it's about identity. Creative identity. And if you consider yourself an artist, if you're a creative person, there is a lot we can learn from Yuta's fight in the Sendai Colony.
おいで、リカ。
As artists, in today's age of social media, we often feel like we're thrown into our own version of a calling games colony. A space where everybody's trying to create something powerful, something unique, trying to catch the eye of the algorithm, trying to be the next big upcoming artist, someone who stands out amongst the masses. And to keep it a stack, sometimes it feels like everyone else has already something special. A unique style, a strong voice, or just a clear identity. And all this while some of us small-time artists, we're still experimenting, we're still searching, still trying to figure out what kind of artist we want to become. That's really why I think Yuta is such an interesting character as a whole. Because unlike the strongest, the pinnacles, and the outliers like Gojo and Sukuna, Yuta might be blessed, he really is. He definitely has an innate talent, but he still doesn't feel like someone who was born perfect. He feels like someone who's still figuring things out, someone who grows in real time, someone who adapts to every situation. And in the Sendai Colony, we see exactly what makes Yuta so special, not just as a sorcerer, but as a creative. The Sendai Colony arc puts Yuta in a very unique situation, but it's something JJK does really well. Time and time again. The jumping sessions. They are not running any fair ones over there. It's crazy. He faces multiple high-level sorcerers, special grades, all at the same time. Every single one of them has a completely different ability. His first opponent, Kororushi, a cockroach-cursed spirit that represents pure chaos, driven by pure survival instincts. Then we have Uro and her fine, a sorcerer or sorceress, I guess. Her technique gives my mom a run for her money. She's able to manipulate anything, even the sky. So yeah, she can bend almost anything, but her technique had the reverse effect on me. It didn't bend me, it actually made me even straighter. Yeah, y'all can think long about that one. Her fighting style is abstract, almost conceptual if you can say. And then we have Ryu Ishigori, a character obsessed with output, power, intensity, satisfaction. In my opinion, out of this bunch, his mindset is what reminds me most of Sukuna of all of these. He's someone who wants to give everything he has and experience something truly fulfilling. As you can hear, each of these characters represents a different philosophy, a different way of approaching existence. And Yuta here has to find a way to survive all of them. Yuta's biggest strength isn't raw power, it's adaptability. He observes, he analyzes, he experiments, all while mid-battle. And most importantly, he learns. As artists, this is something we all underestimate. We think we need to find our style immediately. We think we need to be unique immediately. We all think we need to create something amazing immediately. But Yuta here doesn't start the fight with all the answers. For real, if you watched this episode, you know all his ups starts out by putting absolute belt to ass on my boy. He low-key had me worried in the first half. He was looking like it was one of y'all fighting out there for a second. Yuta discovers the answers during the fight. He copies techniques. He adjusts his strategy. He combines abilities in unexpected ways, to be honest. He doesn't limit himself to one way of fighting. Like for real, bro here kissed a cockroach. Who does that? I'm not gonna lie, catching a W has never been that serious, gang. But that's all what makes him dangerous, because creativity is not just about originality. It's about combination. Every artist starts by learning from others, studying techniques, understanding what already exists, but eventually you start combining things in your own way, and that combination becomes your voice. I started out by drawing Dragon Ball. That's the only thing I was able to draw for a very long time when I was a kid. And then later in life I got introduced to Naruto, and I only drew that for a large portion of my life. And with time I learned to combine those two art styles. I could draw my own original characters if I wanted to, but I choose not to because I like drawing these specific styles. I like drawing Naruto, I like drawing Dragon Ball, I like drawing JJK, I like drawing all these existing art styles. I'm still learning. And also in my art journey, I've made many pivots, going from painting on shoes to clothing and now to canvases, and then as well back to shoes. But it's important to know with every turn I learned something new, a new technique, a new concept, or just what works best for attracting new eyes or just attracting new art buyers to my art business. And my most recent development was combining my interest for streetwear with my love for anime and manga on the canvas. A new art style was born from this. And if it wasn't for all my previous struggles, I wouldn't have made this discovery. This discovery of combining my interests. It helped me to create my first solo leveling artwork and also my most recent Demon Slayer canvas painting. You see, Yuta reminds us being a creator is not about having everything figured out. It's about being willing to adapt. Yuta doesn't see a cursed technique or a weird personality and things, I better avoid that. Nah man, if we learned anything from this season finale, it is he runs in head first. He indulges in it. He questions it up close and sometimes lets himself be absorbed to experience and learn from it. Also, he can adapt to it. Takako Uro is one of the most fascinating characters in this battle, if I have to keep it a stack, because her curse technique is simply just not straightforward. We have Ryo to fill out that gap. She manipulates space itself. The sky becomes her canvas. It's so crazy. The anime adaptation really did a great job in conveying this. They made her technique look way more versatile than it is in the manga. Reality becomes flexible. Her fighting style feels almost like an abstract artwork. Very difficult to understand at first, but incredibly expressive. I love to see it every time it's on the screen, for real. And I'm so happy Yuta yanked her shit because I'm not done seeing sky manipulation on the screen. I love that curse technique. Probably one of my top 3 curse techniques. But Uro herself represents a type of creator that sees the world differently. Artists who don't just replicate reality, but redefines it. Artists who distort perspective. Artists who create something that makes people stop and think. But her story also contains something deeper, because Uro herself feels disconnected from history. She feels like her identity was taken from her. It's almost like she never feels fully seen. Hey, wait, maybe that's why her design is like that. Is that why some parts of her is invisible? Hey, Gege, you cooking. And this is something many artists experience actually. Feeling overlooked, feeling invisible, feeling like your work doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Uro reminds us that creative expression often comes from a desire to be understood, to exist, and to be acknowledged in this world. How many times have YouTubers talked about niching down and only speaking of a certain topic and never spreading your channel too thin, don't show too many interests? All of this is very conflicting with what it means to be an artist. We need to be able to express ourselves. We need to be all over the place. We need to be able to combine our habits and combine our interests. We need to be able to combine it all into our craft. And yes, maybe to become a successful YouTuber, you need to niche down. You need to only talk about one thing maybe. As artists, that's very conflicting to who we are. We want to exist fully in this world, not just one part of us. And I think that's why many artists struggle on YouTube. We have so many things we want to share and so many things we want to express. I'm not saying that this is a solution. It maybe just explains why you are having such a hard time on YouTube or just content creation as a whole. Now, Ryu Ishigori is obsessed with satisfaction. He wants to experience something that truly fulfills him, something that feels complete, something that feels powerful. And as artists and creators alike, this feeling is very familiar. We don't just want to create. We want to create something that feels meaningful. Something that feels like masterpiece every single time. We want to create something that feels worth the effort. Ryu represents the parts of us that wants to push everything to the limit, to give maximum output, maximum effort, no Deadpool. Parts of us that want to experience maximum intensity. But the interesting thing here is, Ryu here, despite all of this, he's not searching for victory. He's searching for fulfillment. That's not the same thing apparently. And many artists today are doing the same. We are not just chasing views or chasing numbers. We are all chasing the feeling of creating something that we are truly proud of. And Ryu is willing to travel time for this. So what are you willing to do to achieve this? And for his one fan watching out there, let's talk about Kurorushi real quick. Every creative journey includes chaos, moments where the process feels messy, and these moments is where doubt appears. Kurorushi represents this phase, pure survival and discomfort, almost like he's pure unpredictability. And if you're a creative, you know creating feels like this. From time to time, projects feel overwhelming. Sometimes your ideas feel unclear, and progress feels very slow at times. But chaos itself is often part of growth. Before all clarity, there's always confusion. Before mastery, there's experimentation. It's necessary. And before confidence, there's uncertainty. That's basically all I have to say about him. Now for the main star, Yuta. What exactly can we learn from him in this fight? Yuta doesn't win because he's perfect. He wins because he stays open. Open to learn, open to adapting, and of course open to evolving. He doesn't define himself too early. This is something very important for all artists, because many creators stop themselves too early. They think either I'm not good enough yet, or my style isn't unique enough, or my work isn't perfect enough. But back to Yuta, he shows that growth happens during the battle, not before it. You don't become ready before you start. You become ready by participating, by creating, and by experimenting, by continuing on. Despite you maybe being on the losing side at first, your creative identity is not something you find instantly. It's something you build, piece by piece, decision by decision, and artwork by artwork. And to take it back to content creation, video by video. Right now, I feel like I'm still in my own Sendai Colony. Still experimenting and still learning. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of artist I want to become. But maybe that's the point of it all. Maybe we don't need to have everything figured out yet. Maybe growth itself is part of the story. And every artist has their own battles, their own obstacles, and definitely their own moments of doubt. Just like Yuta, we need to keep moving forward. We keep creating and we keep evolving. And maybe one day we look back and realize that every struggle helped shape our creative identity. Man, what a One Piece ad ending. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be so hot if this is the ending of One Piece. The friends we made along the way type shit. Hell nah, man. Waiting 25 years for that ending. Man, this Sendai Colony battle was everything I asked for and more, bro. I'm so happy and thanking the universe for making me a JJK fan. I can only imagine what they got in store for season 4. We're so blessed to have something of this quality to look forward to. Hey, I don't care who y'all gotta slime out or who y'all gotta backdoor. You better make it to 2027 to witness the Calling Games Part 2 at all costs, fam. Whatever it takes, man. All means necessary.